right, we're going to dive right into Scratch today. If you are watching this particular video, you are probably a beginner at Scratch, and that's okay because we all have to begin somewhere, and this is where we are going to begin. So today I want to talk about a couple of things. I want to talk about movements, so inputs and movements. I want to talk about a very important piece of code, a loop and a repetition. Then I want to talk about what happens if something happens. So if there's like a touching of a color or whatnot, and then I'm going to end off talking about coordinates. We're going to talk about a little bit of math, X and Y axis. To begin, we're going to start with movements and our inputs for movements. So a movement is actually a motion block. So there's a few ways we can move our sprites. One way is we can point towards the mouse pointer. And you'll see here, this piece of code here also has a drop down. Currently, all I have that I can select is a mouse pointer. So what will happen here is my sprite will move towards my mouse pointer. So let's see what that looks like. I'll click on events. When I hit the space key, let's say for example, my sprite will move towards the mouse pointer. And you can see that's exactly what it's doing. It's moving towards the mouse pointer. What you can also have it do is you can have it move at a certain speed. So again, that would be, let's say, motion, for example. And we want it to move 10 steps towards my mouse pointer. So I'll hit spacebar, and you can see here, it's moving at a speed of 10 steps every time I hit the mouse pointer. It doesn't look so fun now, does it? Right? A couple of other ways we can have objects move. We've got the point towards the mouse pointer and move at a certain speed. You can also have it pointing in a certain direction, let's say 90 degrees, and moving at 10 steps. So you can see now it's not following my mouse pointer, it's just moving at a right angle at a speed of 10 steps. And there's also, you can have it turning certain degrees as well. So we can take this down here and delete this, and I can have it rotating at 15 degrees. Or I can also have it rotating at, let's say, 45 degrees every time I hit the space bar and things like that. So those are the inputs for movements when it comes to controlling our sprites. But you see here, I'm always having to hit that space bar. We don't want to do that all the time, do we? Right? That gets kind of repetitive. What we want to do instead, let's say, for example, is we want to throw in a loop. We want a forever block. That is called a control. So when I push the space bar, I want my cat to rotate at 45 degrees. But I want to do this not every time I hit spacebar. I want it forever rotating. So I'm going to head over to control. I'm going to click on my forever block. I'm going to drag it over here. And you see how it snaps all into place? That means it's connected. So now when I hit spacebar, it should forever be turning at a 45-degree angle. Let's see if this actually works. Pushing spacebar, and there you go. Oh, he's spinning. That cat is spinning, making me and making you very dizzy. So we're going to stop that right now. Okay? Now, what if something happens? What if we have something taking place? So we've got a loop here. This is our forever. But what if, and I'm using the word, what if we have something touching our cat? So from our control, we are going to sense that if, let's say, touching the mouse pointer, and you can see the shape here. You see this shape here? It corresponds to these sensing shapes as well. So if it's touching the mouse pointer, so if my cat sprite is touching the mouse pointer, what could we have taking place? Well, let's see if we can go under, what should we do? What can we connect here? I'm just kind of scrolling through. Oh, we have the looks. How about let's hide this? So if my cat is touching the mouse pointer, it's going to hide. So when we push the space bar, see what happens there? It's hidden, and now it's disappeared. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to fix this by showing when I hit spacebar. There's my cat again. Now, if I go back to sensing, there's a few different options I can choose. If it's touching my mouse pointer, or later on, I'm going to teach you what happens if it touches the edges of the stage. If it's touching a color, we can pick all kinds of different colors. I'm going to talk about this in later games and things like that. Or if a color is touching another color, there's all kinds of different pieces of code that we can put in here. But this is just a quick review. I'm trying to keep this video short for us. I'm going to get rid of this right now, and I want to draw your attention over to the sprite pane, which is right down here. You see we have X coordinate and a Y coordinate. That corresponds to an invisible X and Y coordinates that we have here on our stage. So at 0, 0, so X coordinate of 0, Y coordinate of 0, you can see what happens to my cat. It goes right to the middle of the screen. And if I click on my cat and I move the sprite around, you can see that the X and the Y coordinates change. As we create games at this beginning level of game creation, of this beginning level of programming, we are going to use inputs and movements. We are going to use loops and repetitions. We're going to use if-then statements, and our coordinates are also going to become a very important tool in our coding. That's all I have for today's video. Thanks for watching.